Well, same question goes to you, Dr. Carafano. Would you say that President Trump's foreign policy has been detrimental for America, as the Democrats are claiming?
I don't think the facts are consistent with that criticism. So, for example, if we look at Asia, all the key alliances are very much stronger than they were 4 years ago. India, U.S.-India partnership, Australia, Japan, South Korea, and the U.S. have been terrific the last 4 years in dealing with the concerns about North Korea. The Middle East has actually been transformational. We're seeing new partnerships. The United Arab Emirates recently announced it's normalizing relations with Israel, largely because of the U.S. The U.S. has a string of solid relationships there. Iraq's actually in a better place than it's been for quite some time. Europe, I think, is actually a much more optimistic picture than the critics would have you believe. Look, the U.S. has actually engineered a tremendous reinvestment in NATO of over $100 billion and focus on issues like the Arctic and China that everybody recognizes are important. U.S. relations with the Central European countries are much, much stronger. The relations with the Nordic countries are excellent. Literally, the U.S.-UK relationship's been revitalized. The only real troubled relations really are with France and Germany, and those are for reasons that have a lot to do with internal European politics. In France and Germany, it's much to do with the United States. I don't think a change in American leadership would really make much of a difference. And then if you look at the parts of the world we don't talk about, Latin America, for example, the U.S.-Mexico relationship is great. The U.S. did a trade deal with Canada and Mexico, unprecedented in recent history. Much better relations with Brazil, much stronger relations with the Central American countries. Even in Africa, this administration's actually been very, very proactive. So if you actually look country by country at the status of bilateral relations, it's very, very difficult to sustain an argument that those relations have done anything but actually gotten better in the last 4 years. I would just say in response, I think your assessment's just factually incorrect. And if you look at the UK, for example, the decision to reverse on Huawei in the UK was driven by the Conservative Party membership. It wasn't U.S. pressure. It was the Conservatives in the government that insisted that the UK change its position. The government has actually acknowledged that its position was wrong. And the decision in the UK to ban Huawei is actually quite popular. So I don't think that's a legitimate issue to raise. Yes, the U.S. is and the president's very popular in Central Europe. He's also has very strong relations with the Nordic countries and is incredibly popular in the Baltic countries. And these countries are very, very strong democracies. And the point about his popularity in Germany and France, look, U.S. popularity is an ephemeral issue. People remember during the years Ronald Reagan was deeply unpopular because of a lot of his policies, but the transatlantic community was unified and strong, and in the end, many of his policies led to the end of the Cold War. So there's partisan politics in Europe and there's partisan politics in the United States. But if you want to talk about the question that was asked, which is what's the state of the actual alliances, the reality is they're stronger than they were 4 years ago. That's just, I think, really an unimpeachable assessment.